What color? That's a white Dodge. White? We haven't had a white Dodge Charger in a while. It's an actual Dodge Charger, by the way. Let's get it.
Yeah, he's up ahead of us.
Make sure this tweet gets out. Got so much tech I gotta get ready. There it is. All right. Eliana Moreno in the air. We have a Dodge Charger. That is a white Dodge Charger on the run in Southgate, headed towards Downey Norwalk.
Actually saw in this pursuit by LAPD officers from the Newton Division because the car came back as a cold-plated vehicle. Now, what that means is that the plates on the car don't match the vehicle. So typically, that means that the car is actually stolen, and they stole those plates as well in order to
you guys hear that?
The vehicle a little bit. And the
cold plates.
like a great Challenger. So this
No, Charger. Dodge Charger, not Dodge Challenger. Dodge Charger, Eliana. Close, though. Okay, so cold plates on a Dodge Charger.
Through the area. There's no units behind the vehicle, though, at this time because of the reckless
So they switched the plates. Reckless driving. We're in Southgate, just on Olympic Boulevard, south of downtown.
You know, about reckless driving here.
It's crazy how people don't know cars. We have a Dodge Charger on the run.
Well over 70 miles an hour. Looks like a lot of close calls out there.
Lots of close calls, so that's why they had gone into that tracking mode. But my pilot James Pollard says he does.
Thank God Eliana is back in the air after yesterday's debacle. Eliana Moreno in the air. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go chasing everybody. East LA, Southgate. 5:33 p.m. Rush hour. Friday. Wrong side of the road. Welcome in. Welcome back.
And you can see how the street here looks. It's very busy, and that is the
perfect camera work. Got our A-team back in the air with Eliana.
In and out of traffic here as he tries to avoid
and a Dodge Charger on the run here.
Crossing those red lights. Eliana, do we know if anybody else is in that vehicle with him?
At this point, it's unknown. The car itself, the tint is pretty thick there, so it's difficult to see.
Once again, the want is stolen vehicle. Cold plates have been switched onto the back of this car. Not registered. On the run, potentially stolen.
We do believe the driver is a man. But again, sometimes that changes at the end of a pursuit when they actually come to a stop and the truth is revealed. But for now, looks like they didn't want to drive there on Olympic Boulevard.
Those of you just joining us, welcome to this edition of Birds in the Air. East LA, Southgate. All roads lead to Downey. High rates of speed, 90 plus here on side streets, 80 miles an hour. Don't know if he's got lights on. All sorts of swerving. Wrong side of the road. That's a tight squeeze.
Yeah, so high speeds here.
Really high speeds on these side streets. Look how fast we're blowing by these cars. We can't see what's ahead. The lights have now been illuminated.
Take that as an alternate to the 5. But usually the northbound drive is a lot better, so that's why you're seeing that even here on Telegraph Boulevard headed north, he's really not encountering much in the way of traffic. So this is mostly an industrial area, commercial. You won't really see any homes. The officer there just missed
Oh God!
So I'm hearing on the scanner.
Oh God!
To turn around.
That is the wrong side of the road. Wrong side of the road with an officer come flying by. Now we're just finagling our way through a solid red light in a busy intersection and a very busy Olympic Boulevard. Anyone who's been downtown LA, this is Olympic Boulevard, right just south of downtown.
He was going the wrong way, paralleling that vehicle there for just a moment for some reason, and perhaps is a little bit lost and is trying to figure out how to get back on the freeway, but currently in the area of the 5 and the 710 freeways, but on Olympic Boulevard.
Eliana, is he coming close, or is the driver coming close?
God, 70, 80. This is probably a 25, 35 mile an hour zone right here, my guess. Solid red light we just went through at 60. Now the lights are off again.
Deter him and try to stop him.
Well, at this point, they haven't talked about doing something like a pit maneuver. They're actually saying that they're just going to go back into that tracking mode, which is helicopter only.
Oh my God, this Charger is so fast. Lights keep going on and off. This is going to be a red light coming up here. Left-hand turn being made.
But at this point, that doesn't seem to be working. If it continues to
He is in a pristine Dodge Charger.
The pursuit altogether.
He's been running with his lights out as well, hasn't he?
Oh
Yeah,
God,
actually
right
just
in front of
went
that green
back
light.
out, which of course makes it even more dangerous because now the other drivers on the road don't even see this guy coming. At least if he's got some of the police cars behind him, then you know this is a pursuit. You're trying to get out of the way. But when you don't have those squad cars behind the car, you don't necessarily know that this guy is being pursued by the police and won't see him coming.
Eliana, and are those
People in the chat are saying, "Wait, it's an actual Charger." You guys think I'm lying? I say Dodge Charger. It's Dodge Charger. What do you? It's a Dodge Charger.
So, like the name,
Why is it always a Dodge Charger? Everyone in the comments, why is it always a Dodge Charger? Because it's a Dodge Charger.
Commercial, industrial.
We know cars.
Of the street here, which is good because then
Not a Challenger, a Charger.
Pedestrian traffic. But what we do have is a lot of people just getting off of work, and a lot of people.
I don't know. Maybe if someone stole something besides a Dodge Charger, I would say it's Dodge, not Dodge Charger.
Los Angeles, and it's on Union Pacific here, Boyne Avenue.
God,
where
so
this
annoying.
driver is continuing
That's a
to
Dodge
drive away
Charger.
The LAPD's new division officers who are in pursuit of this car because, again, it came back as a cold-plated vehicle, which likely means the vehicle was stolen.
Again, on the wrong side of the road. So
Ugh.
very dangerous here.
God, why are we on the wrong side? Why are we turning our lights off? That solves nothing.
It's unclear.
Wrong side of the road.
specifically
Fog
which
lights
street
on.
it started on, but I can tell you that it started in South Los Angeles.
Oh my God,
The
wrong
LAPD
side. This might be a
division is just
one-way.
south of downtown, so
We're on the
it's
wrong,
also
complete
in
wrong
the
side of the road.
area. We were
Look at all those
actually
cars on the
another story
proper
when this
side,
one broke
in
out,
traffic.
and we picked up
This person's
a
in no
vehicle,
mood to
very
slow
close
down.
this year's soda
Viewer
field.
discretion advised on this one. We've got serious reckless driving in a supposedly stolen Dodge Charger.
After this vehicle, we have our chopper overhead. How are the other drivers being notified or alerted that that this driver is driving at these high rates of speed?
Sadly, there's really no way to know. If you're just on
God,
the
it's
road
so good to
and
have
it's
Eliana back. You take for granted her camera work, her ability to, because she's controlling the camera right now, the play-by-play, staying with the actual car, not losing it. We take those things for granted. You don't know how good something is until it's gone, people.
Like a major crash, so I'm hopeful that we don't see.
It's been a long time since we've had an ugly crash. If you don't want to see innocent people get hurt, this is not the stream for you. This is a dangerous pursuit. Stolen vehicle, Dodge Charger, approaching Downey. We're on Downey Road now, folks. All roads lead to Downey. The mecca of police chases on planet Earth has claimed another one. We are on Downey Road, just off of Olympic Boulevard, headed towards the Southgate area.
He's been all over the road. He's just turned on East Vernon Avenue here. At times he's been running with the lights out. What has happened here is they picked up the chase just a little while ago for a vehicle infraction. They pulled the guy over, ran the plates on the car, and it's something they call cold-plated car. Cold plates on the car.
We'll stay with 3 stars for now.
The registration on the car, and that's when
Plates don't match the
Right,
registration.
and we still don't know
Suggest
if any other
that it's
person
fake plates.
is in the vehicle with this driver, but we do know, as you were mentioning, Colleen, this driver is driving very reckless. We've seen this driver reach over 100
Downey
miles.
is our
Of course,
MSG.
Very dangerous. And Eliana was also telling us that the driver was more so in an industrial area, which is good, but we've also seen this driver crossing those red lights. And as Eliana mentioned, the concern right now is that police aren't after him. There aren't any patrols that are after him right now because of how fast this driver is going. Another concern is that people are just getting out of work, so there are a lot of vehicles.
Yeah, 5:40 p.m. on a Friday, people. You do the math.
We're looking at
Everyone's out on the streets.
on South Soto Street. He's in the Vernon area right now. He was in East LA. He was in Boyle Heights. And there you
Just
see
blending in
he's on
traffic right now in this
South Soto Street right now.
beautiful
Very
looking
busy
Dodge
traffic.
Charger.
You know, we talk about him being so reckless here. He's been driving on the wrong side of the road. Obviously, there's a certain desperation for him trying to get away. He's been running at times with the lights out on the car. It almost looks like he's looking for a place to bail out here.
I mean, have the Knicks missed a
Exactly,
single shot
and we
yet?
are
I
continuing
don't think
to
so.
monitor this.
I have a feeling
we
they're
can
gonna miss a
clearly
shot at
see
some point.
At one point, he was going in the opposite direction, and we keep seeing but the driver kept going in the opposite direction. Not really sure where.
Okay,
the
that's a
driver
red light
was
for
heading
sure.
and seemed a little
Now we're
confused
fishtailing. Did you see that
this is
fishtail?
a major concern.
Man,
for
those Dodge
people
Chargers
who
have some
are,
pick-me-up. They got
you know,
Hemis under that
getting off
hood.
of work, don't necessarily know
V8s.
what is going on. They just see this reckless driver.
It's going to send,
approaching
not
them,
four-wheel drive though,
and
so we're going to be
he's
seeing all sorts of fishtails if they make a left-hand
Right.
turn and hit the gas.
He's just been racking up the infractions here on the wrong side of the road.
Easy
going
60
through
miles an hour.
stoplights,
Easy.
Cutting people off. What's interesting, we can tell you what police will not do. They're in a tracking mode right now, so there is no way with the speeds he's doing they could do any kind of pit maneuver or any way they could throw out spike strips because they really can't anticipate where he's going to be. Ileana, overhead
Erratic
right now,
driving
give us
will
the
prevent
location,
spike strips.
describe
That
this
is a
area
fact.
for us.
Colleen, so we're in Vernon, which anyone who lives in the area will
DJ
know
Ryerson,
for the
our
most
man,
part industrial.
in the chat.
There's very few
5
homes.
tier 1 subs
So
out to the
that's,
community
we'll
for
find
what
ourselves
feels like
down
the
nearby
10th stream in a row.
warehouses
W's
here
in the
on either side
chat.
of the street. 37th
W's
Street
in the
and
chat
Franco Street
for
and
our
Lincoln
second
right now.
place
We were just in East Los Angeles, so now
subscription
we're in
provider.
Vernon. It looks like he's
Ad-free
seems to
viewing
favor
for
this
5
area.
more
Actually,
of
the
you
first pick of
sickos.
The pursuit was in Vernon, so he's been in Vernon, East Los Angeles, Boyle Heights, and back into Vernon now. And this again started with the LAPD's Newton Division about 20 minutes ago or so. They ran the plates on the car. The plates don't match the car, so that's what's called the cold-plated vehicle.
Dub ZL,
Squeezed by
oh
a car
God,
on the wrong side of the
Dub
road
ZL,
here.
appreciate you getting us through that hype
Because there's a little
train.
bit of traffic on the right side of the road
Sorry, I
going
can't get to
over the
everybody.
train
That's train tracks. We're
Really
fishtailing. All sorts of all over the place, no direction whatsoever. Hitting the gas as we have standstill traffic. There's going to be a huge red light coming up here. Thankfully, he hits the brakes.
He's also in a really high-performance car, isn't he?
Yes.
Absolutely, a Dodge Challenger. This
Dodge
guy,
Charger,
he can
Eliana.
set his own limit. These cars go extremely fast.
0 to 60.
Speeds as high as 70, but it's only because he's been on surface streets. I bet if this guy jumped on a
Oh
open
man,
freeway, we'd
look
see
at the
speeds
C's
100
parting in
plus.
front of him.
Right
I don't think there's any red and blues to help with the traffic out here either. So everyone's kind of on their own, not knowing what's going on. So what makes it so dangerous is if there's red and blues. Oh, I see some flashing lights behind actually. Oh my God, that's wrong side.
That's all you're gonna see, buddy. You're gonna see lots of traffic.
Red and blues would at least make people aware that there's a serious chase going on right now as we're pushing 70 miles an hour here on Alameda Street. How many times have we been down Alameda here in Southgate, Downey, Norwalk? 75 miles an hour.
So at this point, I don't know that officers even know how many people are in the car because again, they first just ran the plates. The car didn't match those plates. They tried to pull it over, and the pursuit was on. So they really don't have much information on who could possibly be inside, other than that, in all likelihood, this car is stolen.
One of the other issues for officers, and perhaps why they are tracking, is that it could be so very dangerous to
What did I say? Alameda?
When they don't know who's behind the
Did I
wheel
pronounce
here,
that incorrectly?
They don't know if this person is armed.
Is it not
they don't know
Alameda?
if this person has a record, has any history with law enforcement. So it becomes very dangerous. Ileana, is there any doubt that he's probably looking for a place to ditch this car now?
In all likelihood, that's what he's trying to do here. Something like a parking structure. We've seen that time and time again.
Alameda.
But this guy,
Alameda.
Lost or
Ganucci.
he just doesn't know what to do.
Alameda.
It looks like he's committed on turning, and then all of a sudden
He just
changes his
loves
mind. And it's not
erratic
like he's got
turns.
Officers behind him. I mean, they've been trying to get behind him for some time, but again, it's still tracking mode. So as far as this guy knows, he's not being pursued. There's no way he could see the police helicopter overhead. I mean, the helicopter doesn't even have any lights on.
Oh God, that was almost a
As far
T-bone.
as he knows, this isn't a pursuit. So what his thought process?
At least this person's not
is
streaming.
clear to us, but now southbound Alameda here coming up to
Alameda. Thank you,
Eliana,
Eliana.
Is this driver still in a residential, an industrial area? And if so,
Wrong
any
side,
dead
wrong side.
streets?
Look at
Wrong side, wrong side. That's a busy inner.
Yeah, that was Alameda there at Gage, which Alameda is a major street. The train runs under here.
No,
So it's
we never
mostly
found the
a
stream.
commercial area.
It's another red light,
And,
people.
my pilot Jim was saying that
Dangerous T-bone.
there are
Very possible
cars trying to
here.
get behind him.
Oh my
Immediately
God, that's
behind
95
him.
miles an
As
hour.
you widen out the shot, you'll see that At least from my vantage point here with the camera, I can't even see that.
Oh,
But
God.
he does
Oh,
see
God.
At least 6 units that are trailing behind, trying to catch up. But even if they do, I don't know that the watch commander on this one is going to let
Genghis
them
Juan,
be,
appreciate you, my
out of that
friend.
surveillance mode, because
Giving out
when
some
they are
subs.
behind him, he drives even more crazy than what we've been seeing. So
No,
the helicopter will definitely stay
as soon as
overhead.
as soon as we get
Whether those
engaged
get to
units,
be,
this might
comfortable
qualify for a
is still
4-star.
unclear, as, again, wrong side of the road on
Ah!
Alameda. Oh my gosh.
All right, Ileana, we're going to stay with your picture right here. What is amazing, Annabelle, as I look at this, because he really has been weaving in and out on the wrong side of the road so many times, is that he hasn't clipped or hit another car here. And he's now
Yet.
in the city of Florence at
Okay,
this point.
we're kicking it
Yeah,
up a
and you can
notch.
clearly
4-star
see
chase.
reaching 116 miles per hour, dangerous speeds, especially for all of those people who are just getting out of work, don't have any clue as to what is going on. And as Eliana mentioned, yes, there are 6 patrol units behind. The driver isn't aware of that clearly, but you can see that the driver keeps turning off and on
Yeah,
those
he's been running
lights.
dark. He just turned his lights back on there. I'm trying to see.
Oh, God.
He's on
Oh, my God.
Manchester.
Oh, the way the camera angle was there.
Busy street at this point in the city of Florence. He was in Boyle Heights on surface streets. He
Oh, this is
was
so
in the city
dangerous.
of Vernon.
Oh, yes, that was a close call.
Clip that car just oh my God. We'll find out when we get Ileana back on the horn here.
So close.
With her picture right here. And Ileana, I'm sorry. And
Holy
just shows the
shit.
desperation he has to get
That was
away.
like 70, 80 miles an
The
hour.
plates on this car didn't match. So
How did he not get to
the
God.
chase started
How do
because
these
they
people
didn't
do it?
It's what they call a cold-plated car, and with officers,
How do they always avoid
don't
the
have
wreck like
sleeves
that?
behind the wheel here when that happens, and that's especially dangerous for them because he could be armed. They don't know what kind of record he has. All right, he's in the turn lane here, about to turn. The other thing I notice is typically when these guys are trying to get away, they will take the freeways. This guy's been almost exclusively on surface streets.
I was just about to say that. Don't know if this person knows exactly or is if
Oh, my
this
God.
person is trying to find the freeway.
That
and
is as
on-ramp
close to a major
get
wreck
onto,
as
what,
we've
the
seen.
605 or one of these freeways that's nearby there. But the point is that this driver has been.
I'm a little
around
worried
all
about
of these
restricted
surface
airspace here.
streets in a commercial area.
We're in Florence, so we're going
Again,
west.
Friday night, you can see the traffic.
If
all
we
of
head
these
towards, like,
vehicles,
Compton,
just
Gardena, we're gonna start to
trying
run
get
into
home,
restricted
most of them.
airspace.
And we see that this driver is just driving recklessly, opposite direction, crossing these red lights. We almost saw that close call.
I'm telling you, people, the adrenaline is pumping so much in these people that are running away that it turns them into Spider-Man at the wheel. Like, I don't know how these people avoid these accidents every time.
It looks like
Oh, God, now what?
major intersection here.
Central Avenue.
Manchester, he's back on
The
Manchester.
adrenaline just
Oh,
like
no, he's
slow,
right,
I guess
he's back
slows the
on-
world down. Look at the
We're trying to
speed.
get
I mean, look at the
locator
fucking
here.
speed
But
on
he
this,
was on
guys.
Manchester
Are you
at
kidding
one
me?
point. If he is indeed back on Manchester.
Yeah, we're definitely in some
let's see what
restricted
brings us.
airspace because Eliana is running
And you can
parallel.
see,
We've,
again, just driving at
we must be
high
west
rates
of Southgate.
speeds. Again, crossing those red
That's the
lights.
reason for this,
Anybody
people.
who is watching right now and is about to head home, avoid this area. If you
No,
have
that's
family
not-
members,
we
if
need
you have
him to come the
friends
other
who
way.
are in this vicinity,
We have to go
trying
all the way
just
around if he's gonna
stay
go
away
south
from
and
this
west
area, stay away from
into
this
Compton,
driver. This
Gardena.
is this is so dangerous. This driver is
Here's
just-
another issue right now. He is encroaching on LAX airspace, which means with planes landing and taking off there, there's restricted airspace. So we may lose the picture. Right now, it
Not gonna-
almost looks like.
Oh,
he's
pursuit
in a
trees.
Residential area.
I'm gonna get a backup stream. I know KCAL's in the air, but I don't know which side. If they came from the north,
Yeah, and so we don't.
if they
see
came
as
from the north like
many
Eliana did, then they're gonna be on the
lights there,
wrong
but
side of the
we do see,
restricted
that's
airspace, which runs
fine.
east to west.
Annabelle, who is attempting to get out of the car.
Gosh,
Look at
oh
that.
gosh, we see those pedestrians crossing
Okay.
the street.
So KCAL's
And
KCAL's
vehicles, of
much
course,
worse.
Still in that area.
They have a much worse
Yeah,
angle.
now this person is on Avalon and what is that? Avalon.
Eliana's got it, the best picture by far.
Yeah, East 80th and Avalon.
Yeah.
But as I said, he's very close to restricted airspace from LAX. And there he is right there.
You guys know the drill by now. LAX
Go down,
airspace,
he's
that's how
in
you
a
get the choppers off of you.
high-performance car.
So Eliana can run, she
it's
would have to go all the way
interesting
around. She'd have to
because-
go to the beach, which is, I don't know,
He does not know that
15
choppers are
miles west.
overhead.
Right.
And
to make the lap around and get on the south side of the restricted
Far
airspace.
enough back. This started
'Cause
with
there's
the
planes
LAPD
landing.
Newton Division,
Now, if he continues to go west like this, eventually it'll just make sense. But every left turn he makes is a problem. That's just deeper and deeper south.
Right, and you mentioned the vehicle Dodge
Flying over that
started
speed
about
bump.
520.
Now, Eliana's
So for him,
camera,
he's just
she's
joining
probably
us
on
right
4X
now.
right now.
This is
The lens
a
goes up to
watch
either
out
8 or
for
16.
plates
We have a couple
apparently
more
that
zooms
don't
left
match
before
the
it goes out of the
vehicle.
picture.
So police started the chase after noticing that, and has really
She's
been
probably
around the
5
World
miles
Heights
away from it
area
at this
and
point.
now approaching the area of LAX.
Yeah, he's ducking in and out of those residential areas now. And the one thing we noticed from previous chases.
No,
is
we're
that
well
you get a lot
west of the
of,
110 now.
You get a lot of trees in those areas, so if.
We're on San
squad
Pedro
cars at
Street.
night,
Yeah, we're headed
not
towards-
right on your tail,
we're headed towards, like,
sometimes they,
that
the
Compton,
drivers will pull up, get out of the car and run,
Torrance.
bail out, and
We'll be
go
in
back.
Torrance at
But
some point.
Just when we think he's gonna go one way, he goes another way, and he's back on, I believe it's Florence Avenue right now, busy street.
Well, yeah, I'm starting to get a little disoriented here because he
And,
keeps making
I thought he
turns.
was going into the turn lane. We talk about why the LAPD is hanging back on this, and it's because this is so dangerous. There's nothing really they can do but follow him at this point. They can't do a pit maneuver. He's going way too fast. There are way too many people on surface streets right now. And there he is. He just popped out again. And they don't know where he's going, so they really can't throw a spike strip out in anticipation that, you know, he might go over that and then lose air in his tires. So all they can do is what we're doing, and that is just basically track him at this point.
Exactly. And because there aren't any patrols,
We can see it in the distance. This is by far the best picture we have at the moment.
This driver.
Eliana's killing it with the long range zoom. Every time she moves her camera, because it's so zoomed in, it would shake like crazy.
They don't understand, they don't necessarily
Little
know what's
subtle
going on
moves.
here, but they just see this reckless driver crossing these red lights and of course driving at these high.
To keep it in the frame.
High speeds. So of course, if again, we want to remind you, if you know somebody who's in this particular area, tell them to just stay away, stay put for a bit. You know, we want to keep them safe
KCal's
as
off.
well.
KCal just turned off the
Once
chase.
again, a lot of tree cover here.
So many
A lot of
pursuit trees.
canopies, but it looks
I think
like
I think it made another left-hand turn. Yep. Good job, Eliana.
59?
Stick with it. It's really hard to track this thing with no red and blues in pursuit either.
Broadway.
She has to stay on top of it.
Yeah, it's hard to.
Especially
to
here comes a
tell
big
there.
pursuit
But
forest.
nevertheless, you can see the desperation of this driver.
Coming up to an intersection.
Just hide,
Oh, God, red light.
trying to get away,
Pursuit tree's in the way.
and
Eliana's
crossing
low, so they're
those
going
red
under
lights
the restriction.
regardless. We've seen some pedestrians. We see a highway above
She might lose it here.
I'm not sure which freeway this is at this point, but we knew he was very close to LAX.
Oh, there's some red and
Perhaps
blues.
it's the 110, it could be the
Okay,
105,
ground
it could
units
be
will
the
help us
405.
find it.
You know, I talked about that tree canopy.
She probably has to go down to a
You know,
certain
this is
elevation to
place
get around the
where,
airspace.
Typically, some of these drivers in
That should be the
chases will move
105,
into those
if I'm not
areas,
mistaken. That should be the
right
105.
next to the tree
Is that
canopy.
Aviation Boulevard?
Won't be able to track them, and then
We're near
all of a
LAX.
sudden, we find out they bailed out. Up there you see.
There we go.
one guy pulling up. Just to give you an idea, once again, this
Oh, there we
is.
see the patrol units
yeah.
calling.
So I'm trying to see what street they're on now.
Eliana Moreno, are you with us now?
Yeah, I am, you guys. So we were trying to figure out exactly what was going on because of the LAX restrictions, we couldn't be right over the chase. But in the area of the 110 freeway at Slauson, we're hearing that this guy may have actually ditched the car that he was in. And made
Okay.
it
I gotta go to Chris Christie, people, because they have a better angle. Bear with me.
To go even faster. So if they can get somebody behind them, maybe they can cut them off.
Bear with me.
They can cut them off at one of these intersections and just kind of slam up against that back bumper. But
Okay.
you know,
Chris Christie,
the-
ABC 7,
it's been authorized.
on the south side of the
It's really not
airspace.
a factor at this point, and really neither is a spike strip. Now he's underneath the 110 freeway. Looks like.
Oh, wow, so now we're headed back
They're
east.
gonna come
There's
out the
the-
other
yeah, there's
side.
the
Is he gonna
110.
come out the other side, or will he keep going? There, no. He did not come out. He did not come out. No. Did
Did he turn around?
he? Did he?
It's always the fucking overpasses, man.
Question.
Right.
It's always the overpasses.
It has not come out. Confirmation, this car has not come out.
Yes.
It's under the bridge.
We just got a little glimpse of somebody running under the freeway.
Under the freeway, we're going to come around the other side of the freeway here. You can see units making their way under the freeway. At least they're in the area here. The vehicle may have been dumped under the freeway. I saw somebody flying out the other side, but that may have been a different vehicle. He may very well still be underneath the freeway, guys. If he is, He's gotten into another vehicle.
Huh?
Oh boy, it's one
I'm
of
hearing he's
those.
gotten into another vehicle.
Ah, Paul Walker challenge!
Walking situation, perhaps?
And let's see which way he
It's always under the overpass!
He may have carjacked another car, guys. He's apparently gotten into a truck under the freeway.
Wow.
Trying to listen in here and eavesdrop on LAPD, but right now,
And who? Somebody's walking right there.
Somebody's like, no, that walking was looking back too.
he's going westbound under in a red Charger.
Ah, he stole a Charger!
Charger to a red Charger. That was a gray.
He went from a Charger to a Charger!
The vehicle and is apparently, according to LAPD, in a red Charger.
Wow.
How does that happen? That's a red vehicle. But
There's the police.
There's some cops running!
Are they going after somebody down here? What are they? I'm trying to figure out what
You
they're
see
doing.
somebody running. Go ahead and just push in there. Push in there. Let's see what we can make out
You
here.
got a guy
Unfortunately,
there.
we can't get much closer. These are pedestrians. I don't think. Those are cops. They are cops. And they are running back to
They're running back to the car!
freeway. He may be stuck in traffic as he tries to. Stand by. Stand by. Hoover and Slauson.
Hoover and Slauson is where he was spotted. Okay, that is.
He was just spotted at Hoover and Slauson. They're trying to make their way over there.
All right, so we're going to try to reacquire him, and as we do,
How was he able to carjack with the units right behind him?
from someone else.
And he waited till he got under the bridge where he knew
Foreman's car.
he could get off a Paul Walker challenge.
And going from
Ah, Eliana's got it!
Charger in the same set of
Eliana's got the red Charger!
Just came overhead.
so
He has this nighttime
you know
on
we
this
have to
car
look at
because
what's happened.
the color match-
Eliana!
He's over here.
Eliana found it!
Right at my left window, guys. Right at my left window. There he is. There he is. They're focusing on that red car right there.
And this person's fully complying here. Driver door is opening. I do see what looks like a second person. Yeah, I do see what looks like a second set of hands there. And originally it was only one person. So unless this person had a friend come and pick them up, the number of people that are in the car doesn't match, and just the driving doesn't match either. This guy, either he's a great actor and is just playing confused, or he really has nothing to do with this. This vehicle just happened to be in the area. The color matches.
What?
And again, it's in the area of Hoover and Vernon. So we're in the South LA area. These are LAPD officers from the Newton Division who are behind the vehicle.
Wait a second.
They were the ones that were over this pursuit the entire time.
There's another red Charger on the ABC stream.
If this driver, if this passenger,
Or is the
are in
ABC
any way
stream behind?
connected with that crazy pursuit that we have been following here for the last 30 minutes or so, but the car at least does
No,
match,
no, it's just behind.
what they believe the person carjacked. So for that reason, they're going to do a high-risk traffic stop on this person and try to figure out if this is the right person that they were following. Otherwise, they're going to be free to go, obviously, and the search will continue here in the South LA area.
Eliana, thank you. Right now at 6, it's Carolyn Johnson with Kathy Varro. We've been following this high-speed pursuits through Boyle Heights and numerous other neighborhoods.
Well, we're about to be code 4 in a
There's
second.
been a car swap in the whole thing, but Eliana, it's still a bit confusing.
Okay,
If
this person's gonna get their car
the
back,
first
whoever got
original
carjacked.
driver who was driving so dangerously.
And it's not wrecked.
Absolutely, Carolyn. That first driver was crazy in a Dodge Challenger at high speeds, in and out of traffic. So many close calls here through Vernon, Boyle Heights, East LA. And when he got to the area about the 110 freeway at Slauson, we couldn't be overhead because of airspace restrictions. But what we heard on the radio was that they may have ditched that first car and gotten into a red vehicle. Now, this red vehicle just so happened to be in the area, so the officers in the helicopter focused their attention on the car. They got the night sun on it, they got ground units behind it, and they did what's called a high-risk traffic stop. So that's when everybody in the vehicle is pulled out and detained. At this point, though, it's unclear if these people have anything to do with this pursuit. It could just be a big misunderstanding, but they just want to basically rule that out and make sure that one of these people isn't the one that led officers on that lengthy, dangerous pursuit.
All right, and one thing you mentioned, Eliana, is that the number of people don't match what we were first hearing, but then again, you had a carjack situation, so it's just procedure now that police have to make sure they follow every single procedure to make sure they know who these people are, and this is what they're doing right now, and it takes up a lot of resources to get through this.
Absolutely. It takes a lot of resources because one group of officers will detain one person, another group will detain the second person, and then another group of officers will clear the car. So this is pulling away from the actual search of whoever was in that pursuit.
Seemed to
If
be
these people aren't
cooperating for the
involved.
most part
But
here.
again, at this
The
point, they just
driving
have to
was
rule
very
that
slow
out
as he made his
because
way down
the vehicle
Hoover.
just happened to match the
I got a
color.
bad feeling
It was
about
in the
this.
right area.
That's
So
not a
what we're
Dodge-
seeing here, though, is,
I mean, that's a Dodge
the
Charger, but
clearing
doesn't
of
look
the
like the
vehicle
Dodge Charger they were
at
talking
least.
about.
They're going to clear the front, they're going to clear the back, they're going to pop the trunk, make sure that nobody's hiding inside, and then they'll detain those two men and ask them some questions and try to figure out if they were in any way involved with that pursuit. If they were not, then of course they will be free to go, but there's always the chance that maybe they got the right car and that at least one of them was the one that was in this chase.
If in fact this is not the right car, imagine how terrified these guys are who are now prone in the middle of the street and, you know, perhaps knowing nothing about what was going on until all of a sudden they had all these vehicles behind them and, you know, had to come out of the car following police orders.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're just driving about on a Friday night and all of a sudden you get pulled over, you're likely very confused if you don't think you did anything wrong. And in this case, the good thing is that everyone in the
This
vehicle
is
got
now
out.
David
They
Ona. We're
complied.
starting Eyewitness
They are being
News at 6
detained. I'm
o'clock,
not going to push
thanks
in too
to
much because,
Mark
again,
and
at this point, we
Giovanna.
don't know that
And
these
just
are
to
the
give
right
some
people that
folks
they
an
were
idea
looking
of what's
for.
happening here, this
But,
isn't your
this
just
is, again,
basic
at Hoover
pursuit.
and Vernon. It will cause a little bit of a traffic tie-up here through the
But
area
they
while they
are
continue to clear the
involved
car
with
and figure out if
what
these
the
men were in
challenges are.
fact
Right, and those
involved
guys,
with
you
that
know, they know
pursuit.
their
And
division
this
like the back
is
of
a
their.
pursuit we've been following since about 5:30. Started out of Newton Division, LAPD. They went into tracking mode. Ileana, this was just an insane chase because the driver is obviously very determined to get away.
Are we
even
code 4?
Crossing over into
Or what?
the wrong lane several times, sideswiping almost a car and pedestrians. We saw close calls. And then when we got the word
I'm
that
trying to listen to
might
the other
have been
channels to see if
carjacking, and
we pick
now
up anything.
They'd switched to possibly another
Law enforcement
vehicle,
helicopters
which
over
we're
this at the
thinking
time.
could be
So I'm
this one,
sure that
maybe.
certainly helped. You have
The
two
diving
flight
changed.
officers kind of able to
It
keep
was
eyes on
very
this and they can
different,
look at different
slow and
things so
not
that they
so
can,
erratic.
you know, see that.
Yeah,
All right,
absolutely.
well,
The
Mike, I
driving
think we're
pattern
gonna
was
move on here.
completely different from what we first saw. This
Yeah.
vehicle was, following the rules of the road, slow speeds. They complied in every respect. So at this. The passenger. Oh, thank you. Just hearing this now from my pilot, James Pollard, he is getting information from the police helicopter that is overhead, and he just told him that the passenger is the driver that they were looking for.
Wow.
Sure enough, the person who was driving this car wasn't the driver, but the passenger.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay, thank you, Ileana. So the carjacking, he got in the passenger seat with the person still driving it and said, "Go, drive."
This red vehicle was the man that they were looking for in connection with that pursuit in that gray Challenger.
Yeah,
So the passenger, that would explain the difference in driving styles. Ileana, my God, love you.
Now to the tragedy in the
That's
country,
it?
and that's where actor Kristen Oliver
Leave us with a towel?
daughters died in a plane crash.
Family lived.
Hold on. I'm not ready to just sign off. I need to figure out. Let me get another stream up if I can, just to talk through this. Okay, well, KCAL went to other news. ABC 7 still over it.
Although there was a report that he might have been on the 5 at one point earlier, but in any event, it was underneath the 110 freeway that he decided to stop the vehicle and then either pull a switcheroo or carjack somebody else. It's pretty much one of those two choices at this point.
Right. It's still a mystery. Hopefully we'll get some answers as to...
All right, we've got some answers from LAPD.
Okay.
Apparently, the passenger in this Chrysler is the driver of the Dodge Challenger. So this does appear to be a case of a switcheroo under the overpass with a buddy's car, and two people now being placed into custody.
Was it okay?
But they do
Was it
have
a
identity that
switcheroo,
does match the driver of the Dodge
or was it a
Challenger.
Paul Walker challenge, or was it just a carjacking? Was the person driving this car, this red Dodge Charger, are they completely innocent? Was the red Dodge Charger there waiting? Because that would be a Paul Walker challenge.
It was confusing for a while. There was
hops in, ditches his car, gets into the getaway car. We've seen that multiple times. So we don't know exactly who the person was driving this, but it would explain that why the erratic driver was in the passenger side and not at the wheel.
Last night, that they ended up losing, but it came about 130 miles per hour down the 60 freeway into the downtown LA area, where they were able to basically make their way into the tall buildings of downtown LA and lose about 7 helicopters and a boatload of police at the last minute. Once they got into downtown, they were able to get away. Downtown buildings and overpasses are the key ingredient for these guys to lose the police and lose the helicopters. Also, parking garages.
I'm telling you, they're evolving. The suspects are evolving. They know how to ditch the helicopters.
Large overpass.
We've been doing this shit for 9 years now. How far these criminals have come in knowing how to ditch the helicopters so that they're able to pull off Paul Walker challenges under the bridge. It's not a coincidence that all of these things happen under a bridge or when there's pursuit trees everywhere. They know to pull into parking lots in downtown LA. They know how to use the LAX airspace as a shield.
We want to move on to other news right now. Eyewitness News has obtained new surveillance footage of last night's day.
They're evolving, man.
This crash comes
we have
to
enough.
centers.
We have enough of a sample size at this point to know that this is not an accident anymore. That these criminals are knowledgeable of tracking mode, knowledgeable of CHP, Sheriff's Department, what color the airship is and what the jurisdiction they're being chased by, overpasses and what they do to the coverage. They study tape. They're in the film room. They're in the film room. The evolution of chases has taken on something that I thought truly would never be possible, and that a lot of these that we've seen, at least the criminals that aren't like on drugs or something, the criminals that are knowledgeable all have a common denominator with the way that they go about trying to ditch the police. So we don't know yet if that was a carjack, if that was on purpose, that they were there waiting for them. Don't know if he called an Uber and just hopped out and got in it. Could have been one of 10 different things. That's unconfirmed. But there was an attempt made to switch vehicles, and that would also explain why there was not reckless driving as soon as we came out from under the bridge. And they pulled over immediately. Because they pulled over so quickly, I'm going to think that it was a carjacking personally, but that's unconfirmed and unproven. What a chase. What a chase tonight. This 4-star chase is code 4. If you haven't dropped your 4s in the chat already, please go ahead and do that. If you haven't followed the account, turn on your notifications in the event one of these happens again. You enjoy this type of content for some reason. That's the best way, because you never know if it's going to last 5 seconds or 5 hours. That's what she said. But that is something you need to do, because every second that goes by, we see something different. We have merchandise if you'd like to support the community further. We had a Dodge Charger, double Dodge Charger chase. That's a Dodge Charger. We have t-shirts where it says, that's a Dodge Charger, because we've been trying to tell you that's a Dodge Charger. Up above my head in the top left corner, birdsintheair.com. Grab yourself a That's a Dodge Charger t-shirt if you're so inclined.